Hey Veg, welcome back! My name is Chef Brandon Collins, and I am brought to you today by Cheft. Cheft is an organization that brings companies like yours together with chefs like me and my friends to help create a fun-loving, exciting, healthy, flavorful community where we're going to learn how to cook, we're going to learn how to make healthy meals, we're going to learn how to prep ahead so that we can take stuff with us. So one of the things we're going to work on today is a chicken and quinoa soup. This is going to have kale, avocado, some lemon, and a little bit of Parmesan cheese if we want it in there as well. We're going to get some great protein from the quinoa. We're going to get some beautiful vitamins and minerals from our kale, some great protein from our chicken as well, and we're going to make it super easy. All right, so the things we're going to need for this are 6 ounces of quinoa. It can be red, it can be white, it can be tricolor, whatever works best for you. We're going to need some avocado oil, a cup of chopped carrots, a cup of chopped celery, and 2 cups of diced onion. With that, we're going to need 4 cloves of garlic, we need some fresh thyme, and a little bit of dried oregano as well. We are also going to need 1 bay leaf, 6 cups of low sodium chicken broth or homemade stock, whatever you have sitting around your house. We're going to need 1 rotisserie chicken that you pick up at your local grocery store, or if you had chicken the night before and you have some leftover breasts that you had cooked, you can chop those up and we can throw those in the soup as well. I need 1 lemon, 5 ounces of chopped kale, or as much as you'd like to throw in there. And then as needed, we're going to need some Parmesan cheese. We're going to need an avocado if we want it. Doesn't necessarily have to go in there, but it also is going to give us some beautiful fat and a delicious creaminess is what's going to help add to the soup. And then we're going to have some salt and pepper, so that way we can season it as we go. So with that, we are going to work on chopping our vegetables. I'm going to show you how to do that real quick. Or you can just buy them already pre-cut at your grocery store. Whatever works best for you. All right, so I have my carrots, my celery, and my onion here. And we're going to chop through those rather quickly, just so that way you can see exactly what we're looking for. Think whenever we're chopping a vegetable for soup, we need it to be able to fit on our spoon. We also need to have it be the same size as every other thing that's going in the soup, so that way it all cooks at the same time and it's all ready to go at the same time, right? So, we have our carrot here. It's been peeled. You can leave the peel on if you would like. That's completely up to you. If you leave the peel on, it may leave it a little bit more bitter, but it does add a little bit more vitamins to it. So, yeah, whatever works best for you. We are going to cut the end off, and then we're going to cut these into manageable pieces, right? So that we have flat sides, so that way we can cut down, and we don't have to worry about them rolling over on us, right? We can then take and slice into these beautiful planks, so that I have a decent size, right? We're not looking for anything huge, but we're not looking for anything super tiny either. Remember, it's a soup. We are going to be eating this and cooking it for a little bit of time, and we're going to enjoy it. So we're not looking for perfection, right? One of my big things is the quicker we can do it, it's all going to taste the same at the end of the day, and especially if we're doing this for health and for wellness and for the ability to be able to do this ahead of time, so that way we maybe limit the amount of times that we're going out to dinner. What better way to do it than to make it as simple as possible, right? So we're going to cut through these little planks that we've created. So we have these little flat pieces. We're going to then cut those into thirds. So that way we have these little sticks, right? And then we're going to run our knife through it. And we're going to do that until we get 1 cup of diced carrots, which is about 1 to 2 large carrots. Now, if you have a little bit more than 1 cup, no worries at all. Feel free to throw it in the soup or use it for something else. Throw it in your salad. If you want to take a little bit of the leftover quinoa, cook that off, add it to that. All those things are something that you can very easily do. And then we're going to put this right into our bowl that we have our carrots in all ready to go. And there we go. We have our diced carrots. Next, we are going to do our celery. The exact same thing, right? We're going to cut those ends off if there happen to be any sort of browning, or it looks like they're starting to lose some of their moisture. We don't want any of that at all, right? So we are going to take our rib of celery, and we are going to, again, cut it so that way we end up with almost the exact same size pieces as our carrots, right? So just 3 sticks for this guy. And again, same idea. We're going to keep our fingers out of the way, right? We're going to create our claw so that way if we never raise our knife above our knuckle, we don't have to worry about cutting it. So we are going to do that all the way down, and we're making sure we keep that thumb in the back, right? Put that thumb in the front, and you're going to end up losing a piece of it, and that's not fun at all. I'm assuming that we probably all need those. So, for our onion, we are going to cut the end off, we're going to cut it in half, and then we're going to peel it. But we're going to leave that root end on, and that root end is going to allow us to control our onion even better. We're going to take our knife, we're going to take it into the onion this way, probably about 4 or 5 times, and then we're going to take it and we're going to cut it this way as well in order to create those dice. And again, feel free to buy these from your local grocery store already done, or again, feel free to do it on your own, right? So we have that. We are going to then run our knife down just like this, and then we are going to cut just like this, utilizing our claw, so that way we get our nice big pieces of onion, our nice big dice of onion, right? And then whenever we get down to this part, we're just going to run our knife through it. And if you happen to see some long pieces, just do a quick chop. Again, we're looking for the average same size, right? So you're going to need 2 cups of onions, so you're going to end up needing about 1 large white onion, or yellow onion, or sweet onion, or red onion, or shallots, whatever you have access to at your local grocery store. All right, so we have our onions, carrots, and celery done. Now we need to dice some of our garlic up. We're just going to chop it up, right? So I have my clove right here, has the paper on it and everything still, right? And I'm just going to take my knife. I'm going to set it flat. Make sure it's flat. You turn it up this way, it's going to hurt a little bit. So make sure you set it flat. Take your hand, smash it down. And that is going to help break apart this garlic clove for you so that way you can easily take it out of the paper, and then also has smashed it a little bit, right? So we can basically go ahead and just run our knife through it real fast and chop it really, really quickly. That's the beauty of this kind of little trick, right? The speed at which. Now, feel free to go ahead and use some of that pre-chopped garlic if you would like. It definitely makes life a lot easier. Just make sure you keep in mind that that stuff does go bad. So you want to make sure that you use it fairly quickly and you don't leave it sitting around your house for too long. Now, we are going to take our knife and we're just going to run it through this. Now, if you were to use the pre-chopped garlic, it would take about 2 tablespoons or so, mainly because it's going to end up being a little bit weaker than a fresh garlic, right? As you cut garlic, it does start to, the spice and the flavor starts to deteriorate as the air gets to it. And again, see my hand's just sitting right on top of it. I'm just rocking it back and forth. And we are ready to rock and roll, right? Not making it super small. Again, looking for the ability so that it all cooks the same. I want to be able to taste it and I want it all to fit on my spoon. Those are the big criteria whenever we're making soup. Another cool thing is that as you make one soup, you'll learn how to make a ton of them because it's literally all the exact same. You're just adding different ingredients. So today's quinoa, tomorrow it could be noodles, it could be rice, you can make black bean soup, all of those different things. So we are going to start getting this stuff into the pot, heating it up, and getting it ready to go. All right, so I have my onions, my carrots, my celery, and my garlic all ready to rock and roll. I'm gonna turn my stove on. I'm gonna start it on high heat, and what I want is for this pot to start getting warm. I wanna be able to kind of agitate the molecules in that pot, so that way whenever I put my oil into it, it's gonna help create a nice little non-stick surface on the bottom. So, as it's starting to warm up a little bit, I'm going to take my avocado oil. I'm going to put about a tablespoon of avocado oil in the bottom. Now, if you want to add 2 tablespoons, add 2 tablespoons. You want to use butter, use butter. It's all simple. Whatever fat you want to put in there, feel free. So, as that oil is starting to get hot, we're going to notice that it's going to start spreading around on the bottom. And it's going to start dancing a little bit for us, all right? Nothing crazy. We just want to make sure that whenever we put it in there, it is fairly warm. You can feel by putting your hand over the top of it, you can start to feel the heat coming off. So we're going to put our onions in first. Now our onions will always go in first anytime we're doing anything, and we're going to cook those until they're translucent. You can hear that it's starting to sizzle. And we're going to start to stir them. Now that we're at that point, I'm going to turn my heat down to low to medium, and we're going to go from there. See you in a minute. Alright, so the onions are translucent. We are going to add our carrots and our celery into our pot. We're going to cook these until they're tender. It's going to take about 5 minutes. Once they are tender, we are then going to add our garlic, our dried oregano, our quinoa as well. And then we are going to add our stock. So we'll see you back here in a couple minutes. Alright, so our carrots, celery, and onions are ready to go here in this pot. They're still sizzling away. I am going to take my garlic now, and I'm going to put that right in this pot as well. And along with that, I am going to add 1 teaspoon of dried oregano. Now, if you want to use fresh oregano, you definitely can. You want to wait until a little bit closer to the end of cooking to add it in then. Because the beauty about these dried herbs is that they actually release a lot of their flavor into fat, right? So we want to make sure we cook it in a little bit of the oil before we add any liquid to it. They are what's called fat soluble. So we're going to stir this up and kind of toast them out a little bit. All right. And again, it doesn't take very long for that garlic to cook. It comes very, very quickly. We are then going to add 6 ounces of quinoa. And this quinoa is going to actually get rinsed. And the reason why is that there's a bitter outer coating on a lot of quinoa. Sometimes you can buy it pre-rinsed, but we are going to just run this under some cold water very quickly. We're going to dump it right into our pot. All right, so my quinoa's been rinsed. I'm going to look over here, give it one last stir, drop this quinoa right into my pot. All right, we're going to stir this guy up. Try not to lose any carrots while you're at it. All right, our veggies and our quinoa are in here, right? I'm going to give it one last stir. We're going to add our bay leaf as well, right into the pot. And then we are going to add our shredded chicken. Awesome, just right off of our rotisserie, shredded and ready to go. Throw that right in there. And to this, we are going to add 6 cups of low sodium chicken broth. So, each one of these containers right here is 4 cups, right? So it makes it a little bit easier. We're going to dump one of these in here. We're going to end up using 1.5 of them. And we're utilizing, again, the low sodium so that way, as we build our soup, we get to control the amount of salt that we are putting in there and the type of salt, right? So in we go. We have our whole 6 cups in there. We're going to stir this up, and we're going to let it come to a simmer. And this is going to cook for about 15 minutes until the quinoa start to get tender and all those vegetables are tender. Then we are going to throw in our kale. The kale is going to cook very quickly, and we don't want to cook all of the nutrients out of it. So, see you back here in about 15 minutes. All right, so our soup's over here bubbling away. We got about 5 minutes left in the cooking time, right? So, we're getting ready to add a couple things to it. So, first thing, we're going to add a tablespoon of fresh thyme. So, here are my thyme sprigs. Now, I very easily could take them and do this and get like everything off them, but as long as the sprigs are fairly tender, we can just chop right through them. Again, let's make this as simple on ourselves as humanly possible. We've got that claw going. We're going to keep our fingers back, just so that way we don't chop ourselves or cut ourselves or hurt ourselves in any way. And then what we are going to do, real quickly, run our knife through it once or 2 more times, right? So that we have a pretty lightly chopped fresh thyme. We're going to take this. We're going to throw this right into our pot with our soup, as well as our kale. So about 5 ounces of kale is going to go in there. So it's a little less than half of this bag. All right, this is just a chopped kale. We're going to throw that right in there. Now you could use spinach if you wanted. You could use something else, any sort of green, Swiss chard, beet tops, anything along that line will work as well. We're going to stir these guys in there. And then as this cooks down, it'll start to wilt that kale a little bit, and it's going to make it a little bit more tender. And then our quinoa and everything should be ready here very, very shortly. So again, I will see you back here in a couple minutes. All right, so our soup is pretty much done. Now we just need to finish and season it, right? So it's already cooked. We can kill the heat. Now what we can do is we can take our lemon. We are going to zest one lemon right into the pot. I'm using a microplane. Use any sort of zester that you may have in-house. If you don't have a zester, it's quite all right. We'll just use the juice, but for this we're going to use both. We are going to zest one lemon into it. This is going to give a nice, fresh, kind of citrusy flavor. And then the actual juice itself is going to create this beautiful kind of rich acid, right? So this lemon zest is going to give us a nice, bright lemon flavor. And the lemon juice is going to give us that kind of nice acid note that we're looking for to help wake up some of the flavors in the soup. All right, and also, whenever you're zesting, don't zest all the way down to the white. That's the worst thing you can do. The white is super bitter. That is not fun. So, we're then going to split our lemon. I'm going to hold my hand like this. I'm going to squeeze and tilt and make sure that I catch all of the seeds as I do that. So, squeeze, tilt. All that juice is coming out. And we're ready to go, and none of the seeds, which is always a beautiful thing. You can also do this over top of a strainer as well, whatever you happen to have handy at that point in time. Squeeze and turn. Squeeze and turn. Perfect. And now we're going to stir. And then now we are going to taste and season, right? We haven't added a ton of salt or pepper to this at all, so that is going to be our next step. We have our lemon in there. Now we're going to give it a taste. Definitely in need of some black pepper. All right, so we've added our salt and pepper. Let's just make sure that we use kosher or Himalayan or sea salt or something of that line. Tastes absolutely killer. Now we're going to plate it. All right, so it's time to plate. We are going to first take our avocado, right? We're going to remove that wonderful piece that it connects it to the tree, and we are going to then run our knife around. And again, whenever you're looking for an avocado, you want that bright green little bit right there. We're going to twist, right? So it releases. Now, we're probably only going to use half this avocado, but if you want to use this other half as well, always leave the seed in it until you're ready to go. Now, a lot of people will take and they'll smack it and they'll twist, which is all well and good, but it's also dangerous. If you just kind of come into the back, right below the seed, and push it out, pops right out, and you're ready to rock and roll. Now, we are going to set it down, run our knife through it, so that we create a nice little dice. We're going to run our knife through it this way, and that'll be perfect as a topping for our soup, right? So we have our avocado, we have our Parmesan cheese over here. Trying to find that really good imported but delicious Parmesan cheese, and that's going to also help add some sodium to this as well. Now we're going to take our soup. Now I like mine to be a little bit thicker, right? I like there to be some substance. If you want, add some more chicken broth to it. It's not going to hurt you. I just like mine to be nice and chunky as we go through it. So here we go. This is the beautiful soup, and it's got nice big pieces of chicken in there, big chunks of kale, this beautiful quinoa and vegetables. We are then going to top it with some avocado. We're going to add some of that nice fat, right? Those good omega-3s. Healthy for the brain. Also going to add a little bit of creaminess to it as well, right? Break those up, put them right on top. And then this is where you can get as fancy as you'd like or as little as you'd like. You don't have to put any. A little bit of Parmesan cheese, right like that. And you have this beautiful chicken, kale, and quinoa soup. You can make it ahead of time. You can freeze it. You can bring it in with you, pop it in the microwave. You're not going to upset everybody. Again, if it didn't happen on social media, did it really happen? Our handles are going to be below. Tag us. Let us know what's going on. We look forward to seeing you. Me and my friends look forward to cooking with you again. And again, have fun, enjoy, and eat and make good food. We'll see you soon.